As we will learn from this chapter, the value of a bond is simply the present value of this bond's future cash flow. We're going to dealing with most of the calculation problems based on the time value of money. We need to know the important bond features and also bond types. We will understand the bond values and why they fluctuate and why bond rating are very important. Now, our concentrations are only for the first three chapters, the basic bond features. Now let's look at a bond. Here we are talking about is a corporate bond. Bond is a debt contract. And in corporate bond, unlike the amortization bond, something like a mortgage or student loan, those are amortization loan, the payment never change. Corporate bond are interest rate only. A bond has a par value, also called face value. For this class, we're assuming each bond at its maturity has $1,000. Bond carry a fixed interest rate. Those rate we call coupon rate. Is a fixed interest rate when they issue the bond. So you need to find out the interest payment. Now, coupon rate is in percentage. Coupon payment is in dollars. Now, a bond has a maturity date, depending on how long the bond is. The interest rate, particularly the market interest rate of a bond, is called yield to maturity, YTM, which is the market rate. Now, when we're talking about a bond, the face value, as we assuming is $1,000 for a corporate bond, it will be repaid at the maturity. You need to pay off the loan at the very end. A blown sum payment, $1,000. The interest rate for that bond, called a coupon, are fixed and stated on the bond. It usually is the yield to maturity at the issuing time. How do you find the coupon payment? You're using the coupon rate times 1,000. 1,000 is the par value. Then you get the coupon payment. Now, yield to maturity is the market required rate of return for the bond with the similar risk and the maturity. The maturity can be long-term bond can be 10 years, 15 years, even 30 years. Now, the yield to maturity is a discount rate used to evaluate a bond. The name suggests you hold this bond to its maturity. What is the return? It is the coupon rate at the issuing time. The quotation are usually in APR, annual percentage rate. But the coupon are paid semi-annually. Later we're talking about that. Now, the bond value, as I say, is the present value of a future cash flows from the bond. They have two parts. One is the interest rate payment, which we call it coupon payment. It is an annuity. It's a constant payment. So we call it fixed income security because its interest payment is fixed, the coupon payment. At the very end, you also have a lump sum payment, $1,000 at par. So add these two together for the future value. What is the present value? The sum of those value, it is the bond value, or we call it bond price. Now you need to remember that as interest rate increase, since you discount all those future cash flows, the present value will decrease. That means when interest rate increase, bond price decreases, and vice versa. When interest rate decrease, bond price will increase. So interest rate and the price of the bond are reversely related. Now, the bond pricing formula is a summation of two parts. One is the coupon payment, is the annuity part. One is the future value, single lump sum payment at the very simple value discounted at market rate. Here we're using yield to maturity, YTM, to represent the discount rate. In other words, is annuity plus a present value of a lump sum. We're going to use all financial calculator to the bond calculation. Let's look at the financial calculator. We have 5 keys: N, I, present value, payment, and FV. In bond calculation, PMT is the coupon payment. FV are always equal to 1,000. N is the number of years, number of period. Depending on if it's an annual bond, it's a year. It's semi-annual payment, then it's 6 months. I/Y is the yield to maturity. It's the market rate. Now, PV, the present value, the negative present value, is the bond value or the bond price. So if we're looking at the timeline of the future cash flow from the bond, they are the payment, coupon payment. Look at all those coupon payments for each period. Let's say 30 years, right? N equal to 30. At the end of 30 years, you paid off the $1,000 future value. And what is the present value for all of those? That's the bond price or bond value. So in this case, we'll use all 5 time value money keys for financial calculator. Now, let's look at the Texas instrument BA2+. N is the number of periods to maturity. I is the yield to maturity, or its market rate of return. It's constantly changing. It depends. Now, it's different than the coupon payment. Now, the PMT is the constant payment in dollar term. It's the coupon payment. The last one is the future value, face value. We always put a $1,000 in. So if you want to find what is the price for this bond, what the value of the bond, you look at the present value. So given 4, N, I, PMT, and FV, the calculator compute present value for you. The present value is the bond pricing. So we'll use all 5 keys to solve the bond pricing problem. Now, in the book, they provide mathematical formula, Excel formula, and financial calculator formula. My emphasis is the financial calculators. Let's do it consistently with financial calculators. Let me just do one example. You can do it with your financial calculators, okay? So here is a bond. It has a coupon rate 10%. The coupon paid annually, once a year. The par value is 1,000. The maturity is 5 years. The market discount rate, yield to maturity, YTM, is 11%. The question is, how much is the market price for this bond? Here is how do you calculate that. We're using financial calculators. Put 5 in N because N is the number of years to maturity, 5 years. 11, the market discount rate or yield to maturity is 11. The payment, now you need to do a calculation of payment. The payment is a coupon payment. Coupon payment is equal to coupon rate times $1,000 par value. In that case, it's $100. So the $100 is the payment, coupon payment. $1,000 is the future value. Your inputs, the 4 inputs are N, R. You want to calculate the present value. Then the financial calculator will compute for present value for you. The result is 963.04. It have a negative sign in front of it. It's just the opposite sign, as we already learned that. Now, the face value of this bond is $1,000, but the bond price is less than $1,000. It's $963. Now, this is what we call discount bond. Discount bond are the bond when yield to maturity, here is 11%. The market rate is higher than coupon rate. Coupon rate is fixed. So yield to maturity is 11, but this bond gives you 10% return, coupon rate. So people pay a discount. So we have the price is less than par, so we call it discount bond. Now, let's look at another problem. Here, the coupon rate of this bond is still 10%. So coupon payment is 100. The par value is 1,000. But we have a 20 years term to maturity. So it's 20 as your N. Now the yield to maturity, the market rate, the current market rate is 8%. 8%, you put that in. And solving for present value or the bond value, which is negative 1,196.36. Now here is the price of the bond is more than $1,000, more than the par value. So we call this bond a premium bond. Why you pay a premium more than $1,000? Because the market rate, current this bond have a market rate of return of 8%, which actually is below the fixed coupon rate, 10%. Therefore, you pay a premium for this, high coupon rate equal to yield to maturity. Then we have a par bond. So when coupon rate higher than yield to maturity, we have a premium bond. When coupon rate below yield to maturity, we have a discount bond. When coupon rate equal to yield to maturity, we have a par bond. Par bond's value is 1,000. That means coupon rate 10%, yield to maturity 10%. Now, we're going to using all 5 keys to calculate the bond pricing. Here, I'm going to show you the Appendix D of your textbook on page 628. We have a company issuing a 11-year bond at a coupon rate 8.25%. That is the coupon rate. Okay. So 1 year ago. So how many years left? 1 year ago is 11 years. So now is 10 years. So the bonds are 10 years. The Y is 20. Now, because in most corporate bond, it's a semi-annual payment. Every 6 months, you pay a coupon rate. Therefore, you have to use semi-annual or 6 months as per period. In this case, 10 times 2 is a number of year left, a number of period until maturity. So it's 20. Remember, it's 10 year left, 10 times 2, 20, 26 months. Now, the coupon payment is 82.5 per year. Since we're talking about 6 months, divided by 2, you get 41.25 is your payment. Future value is 1,000. Given and the yield to maturity here, currently the market rate is 7.1%. Now we're talking about a period should be consistent in N as well in coupon payment and also in I. So we cut the yield to maturity in half. 7.1 divided by 2, we get 3.55. Key that in. Given that 4, solving for present value. Now the present value give you $1,081.35 for this bond. My question for you is this bond a premium bond or discount bond? Okay, it is a premium bond. Why is a premium bond? Because the coupon payment, which is 8.25, is higher than the yield to maturity, 7.1. So you pay a premium for that. Now, please work on the appendix to make sure you understand how do we do the adjustment. Here's on the right-hand side explanation how do you do the adjust for semi-annual payment. Okay. This is on your textbook, page 628. Now, here showed you the relationship between the value of the bond, the price of the bond, and the yield to maturity, the discount rate is. It is inversely related. When the yield to maturity or interest rate goes up, let's say from 8% to 11%, 14%, 12%, the bond value will go down. On the other hand, if the interest rate go down from 8% drop to 4%, the bond value will go up. It's a inverse relationship between the price of a bond and yield to maturity. Here's a summary. The relationship between coupon rate and yield to maturity. When you issue a bond, you use the current market yield as your coupon rate. In that case, you issue a par bond. When yield to maturity equal to coupon rate, the price is equal to par, means 1,000. On the other hand, after you issue, after 6 months, if the coupon rate, since coupon rate cannot be changed, if the market rate goes up, yield to maturity, then the price will below par. It's a discount bond. Why? Because for the current risk class, current market condition, if you issue a new bond, which will pay you a high discount rate. So since this is already issued and a seasoned bond, the coupon rate cannot be changed. So you sell below par, below $1,000. On the other hand, if the yield to maturity is below, which is the current rate, below the coupon rate, in other words, after issuing of the bond, the interest rate goes down, market interest goes down. In that case, this is a good investment because the coupon rate is higher than the market rate. Therefore, you pay a premium price. The price is more than $1,000. That's the whole relationship between the coupon rate and yield to maturity. Right? When you do semi-annual, most bond, the majority of the bond are semi-annual payment. So you need to adjust for your calculation. For example, coupon cut in half. The coupon payment is semi-annual coupon payment. First, you calculate annual coupon rate, then you divide by 2. Then yield to maturity also divide by 2. You get a semi-annual. But number of 6 months, you need to times 2. You need to double the end value because you are talking about 6 months. Let's do one calculation as an example of a semi-annual bond. Coupon rate is 14%, but it's paid semi-annually, like most of bonds, semi-annually. The yield to maturity is 16% per year, APR. How many years left on this bond? 7 years. Now, first let's figure out 7 years, how many coupon payment you will receive. It's 14. It's 2 times 7. 2 times 7. You get 14 as your end. Coupon payment. Coupon payment is 14% times 1,000. You get 140 divided by 2. You get 70. 70 is your payment, 6 months payment. What is semi-annual rate of return? Is 16 divided by 2. So coupon payment yield to maturity cut in half, but period, double it. Here is the input. You need to key in your financial calculator. 14 for M, 8 for I, 70 as your payment, 1,000 is future value. Given that 4, let calculator do the computation for present value, which is negative 917.59. Now this one showed you is a discount bond. Now, up to now, we showed you how do you find bond value or bond pricing. Now, another way people are using the financial calculator to do is try to figure out what is company's yield to maturity. In other words, since bond pricing are observable, you can look at the market to see how much is the bond currently traded. What that means towards the company, and yield to maturity is the risk-adjusted discount rate for this bond. So you need to use market information, which including the current market price, to find out yield to maturity. In other words, in your financial calculators, you enter 4 inputs. They are N, means number of period. In most cases, it's semi-annual, 6 months. Present value, which is a negative sign, using negative sign, we're using is the market price. Today's market price for that corporate bond. PMT is the coupon payment each period you receive. FV equal to 1,000. Given that you asked financial calculator to calculate I. Now, don't forget, the present value should have a negative sign in front of it. It's called a sign conversion, right? Present value have the opposite sign, negative. But payment, coupon payment, and future value is positive. You compute for I, for the yield. Now, do not, let's look at, this is the one example. Now, first, let's make it simple, is the annual coupon bond. So we don't need to do the 6 months adjustment. Let's look at that. Consider a bond with a 10% annual coupon payment, 15 years to maturity, and a par value 1,000. Current price is 928.09. The question is, will the yield to maturity, be more or less than the 10% annual rate? Okay, you give you the clue because it's a 10% versus. So you need to figure out what is the yield to maturity is. Since it is an annual coupon bond, so we don't have to adjust for 6 months. So 15 is N. 928.09, change sign, make it negative. Present value. 1,000 future value. 100 with a 10% times 1,000 equal to 100 is your present value. Is your payment, coupon payment. Compute for, I'm sorry, here is a wrong key. Compute for I, Y, interest rate. So the interest rate is 11%. Interest rate is 11%. So here is the yield to maturity, which is higher than 10%. The reason? Because the current price is a discount, is below 1,000. Now let's look at semi-annual now. Suppose a bond with a 10% coupon rate and the semi-annual coupons has a face value 1,020 year to maturity. Currently is selling for 1,197.93. And is the time value as yield to maturity more or less than 10? And what is the coupon payment? How many period are there? Now, this is a semi-annual. So semi-annual means 6 months payout. So for a 20-year time to maturity, you double it. 20 times 2, 40, you have 46 months. N. The bond price is 1,197.93. Change sign, negative, present value. 1,000 future value, the face value. Half of a coupon month, 10% annual rate times 1,000 equal to 100. 100 divided by 2. Coupon payment. So 50. Now, yield to maturity, you have to solve it. Your result is 4%. But here the 4% is only half of the yield to maturity. Don't forget, you annualize it. How do you annualize it? You times 2, simple APR. 4% times 2, 8%. So annual rate is 8%, yield to maturity, okay? So this is how do you do the semi-annual payment. Here is a summary of the bond formula. We are definitely going to use financial calculator to do it. It's much easier, much, much easier than the mathematical formula. Now, I want to spend some time on the feature of a bond, which is a kind of debt, and compare it with the stock, which we call equity. A bond, a debt, does not represent ownership. Now, since it's not ownership, the bondholder, by the way, the investor, bondholder, the investor, has no voting right. You cannot decide who is on board, executive board, for example. On the other hand, the interest rate the corporation paid, the coupon payment, is tax deductible. Therefore, it's cheaper financing. And as a investor, they call themselves creditors because you give the bond, you pay as an investor, you pay the bond, you provide the cash for the bond. So if the interest payment delayed or sometimes missing, you have the legal recourse if the interest or principal payment are missed. Okay. So on one hand, the plus side is interest payment on bond tax deductible. So it's below. Usually it's lower. The effective rate cost is lower. On the other hand, also a plus things is plus size is you have recourses. So you can force, if they miss the payment, you can force the bank, the borrower, the corporation, to bankruptcy to collect the money. But on excess, if the company using too much debt, they might lead to financial distress. That means they have short of cash. They cannot pay the interest payment. Now, when business is good, the company have no problem. The problem is when economic condition goes down, some high-levered firm will have problem to meet interest payment. In that case, you might get into financial trouble. The severe case will lead to bankruptcy. Well, this is bond. This is debt. Now let's look at equity. If we're talking about the same company, equity, let's look at the feature of equity or stocks. As the name suggests, the equity means ownership. And the common stockholder have the voting right. They will elect the board of directors on other issues. So they have some kind of control of the company. However, the dividend payment are not tax deductible. So you have a double taxation, the costly. And a dividend, if you miss the paying dividend, the shareholder cannot force you to bankruptcy, unlike creditors. In other words, all equity firm cannot go bankruptcy because there's no obligations. You own the firm, so if firm in trouble, your value goes down. There's no obligations. So make sure you understand the difference between debt and equity, bond versus stocks. The bond debenture is also called a deed of trust. Is a contractual items between issuing company, which is the borrower, and the bondholders, which is the creditor, is the lender. In the bond contract, they have certain basic terms. How long for this bond? How many bonds issued? What the total amount of bond issued? Is that bond secured? Means if you need using something as a collateral, if you don't meet those interest payment, the creditor can sell your collaterals, for example. So if you have a collateral, that means secured bond, but certain bonds do not have collaterals, unsecured. Sinking fund, some other sinking fund. Now, most corporate bonds are interest rate only, if lump sum. Compared to a consumer type of loan, like a mortgage loan, student loan, the payment never change. But the payment including certain amortization, you will reduce the balance gradually. And the corporate bond, you don't. You have lump sum. Now that was causing some kind of a danger as people were bankruptcy at the last minute. So certain bond will have what we call a sinking fund provisions. This is after a 30-year bond, after 10 years, you need to set up a sinking fund. You have to retire your total principal by each period. It's very similar to the amortization part, a sinking fund. And certain bonds will allow you to refinance, called a call provision. So for the bond, corporate bond usually very, very detailed as for all those obligations, what those are. A bond classification, some bonds are called bearer bonds. Whoever carry the bond, they pay you. On the other hand, if the bond registered, you have to register with the treasurer. They'll pay you directly. Okay. By the way, the currency we are using, the $1 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, are bearer bonds of U.S. government. Whoever have that 20-year dollars, actually, the government owe you. So bearer bonds. Now, as for securities, collateral is secured by financial securities. Mortgage deeds, another one. Mortgage bond is secured by real property, normally land or buildings. Now, if the bond is unsecured, we call it debenture. Now, the debenture usually is the most risky bond because there is no security on it. As a result, you need to pay high rate to offset the risk the lender are taking. Now, there is some confusion. What is bond? What is notes? They're basically the same thing. Okay, people usually use the note to represent unsecured debt with 10 years immaturity. They call it notes. Relatively intermediate term bonds. But people sometimes are using call it, 30-year notes. But basically, bond and notes, no strictly difference between them. Bond also have seniorities. When a company into bankruptcy, the first loan will get paid first, then secondary loan, like a second mortgage. You are a junior loan. You wait until the senior mortgage paid off. The junior mortgage will pay. So the junior mortgage or the second junior or subordinate rate bond is more risky. Okay. Now, here is a good question. The coupon rate are usually depend on what the current market rate on this company, which is really risk adjusted. They're looking at the company condition. They give you ratings. If your rating is high, you are safe. You pay lower coupon. If your rating is low, you pay high coupon. It's risky. Now, here is some judgment call. The question is, which bond should have a high coupon? Is more risky. Okay. Number one. A secured debt versus a debenture, unsecured debt. Which one has a high coupon rate? The answer is the debentures. You pay more. Number two, subordinated debenture versus senior debt. Which one is more riskier? Senior debt or junior debt? Obviously, junior debt, the subordinate debt. Therefore, the subordinated debt debenture will pay high coupon rate. Number three, a bond with a sinking fund versus a bond without sinking fund. Without sinking fund, you lump sum payment at the end of the period. Which one is more riskier from lender? Without sinking fund. So without a bond, without sinking fund, you pay high coupon rate. On the other hand, a bond has a sinking fund clause, pay lower coupon rate. It's a part of it, reduce your cost. You share the risk. Last one is a callable bond versus non-callable bond. It's kind of tricky here. It's one callable bond is you can refinance. Non-callable bond is not refinanceable. You cannot refinance it. So which one is a more risky from lender? Right? From lender. Callable bond actually is more riskier. Because when interest rates go down, the borrower will pay it off. Then you have reinvestment risk. Therefore, callable bond usually is a high coupon rate, or you put a premium on it. A non-callable, the borrower take the risk. So it pay lower coupon rate. Now here, just according to who, there is no free lunch. Whoever benefit from those conditions have to pay for it. Now, bond rating are an important feature in corporate finance. It's done by a third party. High rating usually is a Moody's AAA or S&P AAA. If AAA is the highest rating, what AAA means? That means capacity to pay is extremely strong. Then, as a result, so you pay lower yield to maturity or lower coupon also. On the other hand, AA is a little bit, it's very strong, still strong, but it's less strong than AAA. So AA. Now, AAA, AA are all considered low credit risk. So they pay less. The medium grades is simple and BBB. BBB is the capacity to pay is adequate. But if the condition, adverse condition, will have more impact on firm's ability to pay, therefore BBB has to pay high yield to maturity. The return is high because it's more riskier. But here the chart showed you from AAA down to BB, they are considered investment quality, low default risk. Okay. On the other hand, anything below BBB, double B, single B, triple C, single C, even, single D. Those are speculative, very high risky. So the coupon rate usually is very high. It's very high. And there is another word for those low speculative investment. The good word is called high yield bond. Now ask yourself, why they pay high yield? Because it's very risky. It's a bond rating at, let's C or D. The default risk is extremely high. In order to borrow, they have to pay high coupon, high cost. So high yield bond, another word, really give you a better sense. It's also called junk bond. Because quality is the junk. So you have to pay very, very high. Now, anything below BBB, you should not touch it. In most investors, you should not touch it. Those are considered speculative. Okay, here's about the bond. Let's take a break. Coming back, we're going to discuss about stocks.